and he withdrew and set aside the criminal charges against Jacob Zuma. Now, that was from those spy tapes. But the spy tapes played another role because Nomgabo Jiba had been suspended for giving evidence in favor of the defense in the prosecution of Jackie Selebi. So she managed to persuade Richard Mzluli to come and testify at her disciplinary inquiry. And he produced the same transcripts and said that the decision to suspend both her and Lawrence Mwebe were unlawful. And these spy tapes proved it. But then the problem was Mokoteli Mshe had now withdrawn criminal charges. As a result of the withdrawal of the criminal charges, if history is looked at, a year later, Jacob Zuma became the president because now there were no longer a cloud hanging over his head. So now you had this situation where after that happened, I can't remember if it was a DA or somebody else, but somebody then brought an application.
Yeah, there were several applications relating to this part.
Yes.
But can we just fast forward because, you know, I was starting at 2011, 2012 when you sort of embarked on this.
Then.
Yes,
that happened then. And then I opened dockets. In 2012, I opened a criminal docket against Nomgabo Jiba, Lawrence Mwebe, Prince Mokotedi, who was at that stage an employee at the National Prosecuting Authority. And there were one or two others, but they were the principal people that I opened the docket against. And I alleged that they had committed the offense of perjury and that they committed an offense in terms of Section 32 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act in that they had interfered unlawfully. Another person's name was Manzini. Another person's name was, he was the head of crime intelligence. He was Richard Mdluli's boss. Anyway, I opened docket against all of these people, a single docket, because I felt that it would be appropriate that they would have to explain their conduct during the Selebi trial and the latter end of the investigation, the Selebi investigation. And as a result of opening that docket, I then found out that actually they had opened the docket against me. So now they say, okay, we're now going to open a docket against you. And that's what they did. And as for some reason, both dockets were kind of set off. And I thought, wow, I knew that the charges against me were fake, but I knew that the allegations I made against them were not fake. But the prosecution service decided, you know, it's tit for tat. We're going to cancel your docket and we're going to cancel their docket. So now you can carry on. And I wasn't happy with that. And the reason I wasn't happy with it was because I could see that the criminal conduct was still carrying on. So I thought, wow, so they all get off scot-free. And I decided, no, that can't be right. I must carry on pushing. So I opened another docket in either 2013 or 2014 against some of them. By now I had further information and I supplemented the prior docket and I said, no, this.
And you mentioned persons at paragraph 42.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. So by that stage, I had become aware of the conduct of the late Ms. Dudu Mayeni at South African Airways. I had also become aware of, in 2014, of the conduct, or at that stage it was just alleged conduct, of Lieutenant General Pashlami. And what had happened was, we had a commissioner of police, another civilian, a lady by the name of Ria Pieka. And I sent a number of emails to Ria Piega setting out what I believe to be serious challenges that the police were facing in terms of corruption within the police. And I named some of the people concerned. And most regrettably, she passed my emails on to them. And that left me in a position now where they opened counter investigations against me. And so I then discovered that there were cops following me. And there were cops going around talking to people and asking questions about me. So I thought, no, I had to take the fight back to them. So I started doing that.
So is that the difficult years that you referred to at paragraph 43 between 2014 and 2018?
That's correct. So lots of things started happening to me at that stage.
Are you able to summarize them with reference to the annexes or one of the annexes that's annexed to your affidavit?
So that would probably be this document that I refer to as joining the dots, which is at page B74.
Yes. Now that document is from
June 2017. But it deals with the years prior to June 17. It doesn't deal with what happened after June 2017.
Yeah.
And what that document does is it names a number of the individuals which I believed at that stage had infiltrated the criminal justice system. And I named them and I explained where I believed they fitted in to this infiltration process.
Just pause there. See the report, joining the dots, confidential report on page 74. It's dated June 2017. It was published in conjunction with AfriForum in late 2017.
That's correct. In fact, it had been updated by June 2017. So I had produced, together with AfriForum, another report called Joining the Dots. And that would have been 6 months or 7 months earlier. But by June 2017, we had more information. We had more understanding of what I considered to be, well, I wasn't on my own in considering it. By that stage, the then public protector had issued a report, and the report was called State of Capture. And I looked at the aspects of that report, State of Capture, and how that interleaved, how it fitted in with what I was seeing going on in the criminal justice system.
And is that then results in what you called a special report on state capture?
I did a further report.
That's on page 95.
Yes, but I produced that report in June 2019.
Yes.
So that's like 2 years later. So what had happened was I had set out the persons that I believe were involved.
These court papers you're referring to are the court papers in the application brought
Yes.
for your release?
Not at that time. So what happened was, Chairman, after this, I was moved to another police station. And then I was moved to another police station. So they kept moving me. And the last police station I was at was Kempton Park. Now, the 1st of April in 2016 was a Friday. So I ended up at Kempton Park Police Station on the Monday. And my lawyers have now come there to bring an application for bail. And I'm told that I'm being charged with a breach of Section 26B of the Citizenship Act. In that, I used my Irish passport.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, please help me understand. We brought this witness before us here today to respond to allegations that has been made by all the previous witnesses, like we have seen with all our other witnesses. They came here to respond to that. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan has come here today and basically pushing his agenda of all his success stories that we have to listen to here in the entire day. Not responding to anything that was leveled against him by any of the other witnesses. We are sitting here today listening to his success stories and dancing according to his music. Until what time do we intend sitting here when he has back issues and he has to leave at 7 o'clock? Tomorrow we're never ever going to get through the statement. This is a book that he has given to us based on what he thinks we should hear. And we're not here to be sitting and listening to him all day and night for 2 days. We're here to probe the allegations that's been leveled against him. For how much longer are we going to allow this? We can't have this. I'm looking at this long index that he has given us, miscellaneous matter, taxpayers fund for Japan, all this stuff. He's sitting here, most of the stuff isn't relevant. We don't want to know about his journey in life. Gods, thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, at last, Chair. I just want to anchor Honorable James as well. When I raised my hand, Chair, because I remember at the 7 o'clock, so I didn't want you to close before I say this to Mr. O'Sullivan, that all what we have, this bundle which we are having here, please, tomorrow, Chair, we need to have evidence. Because there's a lot of, I don't want to put it there, let me put it nicely. There's a lot of nonsensical papers on this thing. We need evidence tomorrow, Chair, not what we were traumatized last week. We can't be traumatized going forward from now, Chair. We need evidence, not gossiping, evidence. Thank you, Chair.
Muhalaka.
Chair, I think that we might want to blame the witness, but the evidence leader is responsible for all of this. Because the evidence leader must be able to refer the witness to a relevant paragraph. And if the witness takes forever, the evidence leader who knows that I'm working within a limited time must be able to remind the witness. And she was doing that earlier on. And then now we're back to the same problem we're having here in this committee. So please, the evidence leader must lead. I mean, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, everybody, if you are given a platform to speak, so if the evidence leader is not going to interrupt him and say, no, come back here, we're here, let's proceed this way. He's just going to speak. It's like we're in a podcast now.
Advocate Arensa.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, the terms of reference of this honorable committee relates to police misconduct, political interference. The evidence thus far, and it is evidence, it's not a story made up by the witness, that resulted in the successful prosecution and conviction of a former National Police Commissioner. In the last while, and yes, it has also quite frankly annoyed me a bit because it's taken too long. Because I've tried to push Mr. O'Sullivan to summarize or just refer us to a document where his own experiences are summarized, and it is on the record, and the honorable members may not be interested in it, but they can read it for themselves. This is as a result of him lodging several cases, opening several dockets against senior police. What we have just heard is, one wouldn't wish it on anybody. It's the most egregious, or one of the most egregious acts imaginable. Is sitting on an airplane with your children, police officers coming on board without a warrant and hauling you off an aircraft and putting you into a cell. Now, there is nothing that indicates that this is not what has happened. But we will tomorrow attempt to curtail what is left of Mr. O'Sullivan's affidavit so that we can conform to the time restrictions that we do have. Thank you.
How much time do you want tomorrow?
Are we going to start slightly earlier, Honorable Chair? Or are we starting at 11?
We can make that determination if we know how much time do you need to conclude the presentation.
We would need at least 3 hours.
It's not going to be possible. Let me tell you why I say it's not going to be possible. If we are going to finish at 19 hours tomorrow, it means we are going to start allowing members to ask questions at 2 o'clock. And that is 5 hours. It means only 10 members of this committee are going to speak, unless if the members agree that the alternates will not have anything to say tomorrow. Because if you divide 5 hours by 10, it means you allocate each member 30 minutes from 2 o'clock until 19 hours. Those will only be the 10 members of the committee which will speak. Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, no, Chair, I'm very worried after listening to the reaction of the evidence leader. I think he's being defensive because, yeah, we're trying to help the situation. And if he responds like this, it means tomorrow we're going to face the same situation. Chair, we've been saying this on numerous occasions, and it's on our terms of reference, that this session, this committee belongs to members, not to the evidence leader. The evidence leader has taken more than a day from 11 o'clock. We're complaining about his pace because his role here is to lead evidence. And he can apply many mechanisms to ensure that he moves at a very fast pace. Now he allows the witness to speak and to dwell on peripheral issues which are not even related to questions that have been asked by him. That is what we are reprimanding, Chair, to say he is not giving proper guidance to a witness. And that is why we're chowing a lot of time. So he must not do that. At least, Chair, he must be given an hour tomorrow, not 3 hours. Because there are members here, we don't want to be told that we have limited time tomorrow. We also want to make a submission, Chair, that let's go back to a proposition that was made by Honorable Mateus and Honorable Sols that our time must not include questions by a witness, because we've got a lot of interest on the witness before us, and we think that we require more time for our questions. So our 30 minutes must not include his responses, because you can see how he responds. So if our 30 minutes includes his responses, it means we might spend 5 minutes and he spends 25 minutes because he gives long answers to a greater extent which are peripheral and out of context. So it must not be defensive, Advocate Arenze. We are not doing justice to us as members of this committee, and we are encouraging you to improve. This is not an attack. You must view it as a constructive criticism. Thank you.
Honorable Malema.
Thanks, Chair. We support 1 hour tomorrow for the advocate, because you can't have a day and a half, and then we have a half, and then still go around and say, this is our committee. It can't happen like that. That is lack of consideration. He must do his work in such a way that he also allows us to do our work. We allow Mr. Paul O'Sullivan to answer the way he's done. If he takes his time and allow him to do what he's doing, it can't be on us. His time is exhausted today. Tomorrow is our day. We're giving him an hour, then from there we're coming in. The story that Mr. O'Sullivan is telling us about his achievement is for today because he's speaking alone. We are coming tomorrow. This thing of telling us achievement ends today. Tomorrow we're going to have to answer the allegations that were made against him. So we will make sure he's going to answer those allegations that were made against him. Tomorrow is our day, please. 1 hour is enough to summarize leading evidence, and then we must also have an opportunity. We can't look for Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. When he arrives here, we are being denied an opportunity to question him because a process being deliberately prolonged to an extent that when our time comes, we don't have an opportunity to ask proper questions because we are being rushed. Thanks.
Do we still have members who want to speak before I close the meeting? Okay. We are going to start at 10 o'clock tomorrow. The presentation of evidence will be concluded by 11 o'clock tomorrow. 1 hour will be allocated. And then we are going to allocate full members. Each of the full members will have 40 minutes. And the alternates will have 15 minutes. That will be the order of proceedings tomorrow. And each of the members will be responsible for keeping their own time. Once we allocate, we start the clock. At the end of 40 minutes, the next speaker takes the microphone. There is nobody who will be blaming the chair to say, it's like you are sleeping on that chair. Once you see that it is your time to speak, you just say, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, look at me, it's me now. Then you ask questions. I want to thank you so much, honorable members, for your patience. It has been a very long day. Thank our evidence leader.